Penguin Random House Audio presents Worse Angels by Laird Barron. Read for you by William Demeritt. Out of the window, I saw how the planets gathered like the leaves themselves, turning in the wind. Wallace Stevens. The other was a softer voice, as soft as honeydew. Quoth he, "The man hath penance done, and penance more will do." Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Part 1. Valley of the Horses' Heads. Chapter 1. A blood moon glowered over the Catskills as I climbed out of the hole. I glowered back, imagining claws and fangs and muscles bursting through my clothes the way it happened for Lon Chaney Jr. on moldy old Wolfman posters. Nothing doing. I remained plain old Isaiah Coleridge, but that was probably bad enough. Werewolf movies were on my mind for various reasons. Earlier that evening I'd commented on the topic to my girl Meg. "Freudian as all get out," she'd said. "Good guy on the surface, woman in sheep ravishing beast on the inside? Those faux romantic posters where the werewolf in pants carries an unconscious gothic heroine in his arms? Not like that. It dragged the woman by her hair. Blood drooled from where the roots tore free. Her shin bones gleamed in the moonlight." "You're ruining everything," I'd said. "Why do horror movies always preface the main story with a curse that began years, if not decades or centuries in the past? Does evil need to steep like a tea bag before it can manifest?" Didn't get an answer, but one of Meg's enigmatic smiles, as if to say, I needed to pay more attention. "Every rock in the state of New York is in this goddamn hole." Lionel Robard tipped back his safari hat. He leaned on a pickaxe. It was chilly. Steam rose from the sweat on his brow and his matted hair. Raw-boned and sinewy, he was built for marathon bouts of hard labor. His Monte Carlo's headlights were on so we could see what we were doing, like a pair of resurrection men in a graveyard after the world had gone to sleep. He needn't have bothered, what with all that nickel-plated moonlight spilling through the mist and the trees. I wiped my face and popped the top of a beer. The wages of sin are digging rocks when you go to bury your ill-gotten treasure. I eyed the inky shadow of a man crouched near an Austrian pine. The longer I peered, the more closely the shadow man resembled a stump. Last year we'd snatched a bunch of money from the secret cache of a notorious murderer romantically dubbed the Croatoan, since deceased. North of $1.5 million. Held it and waited. First, to see who might creep in from the woodwork searching for the loot, and for us. Second, because the bills were minted in the 1960s and 70s. Changing that filthy lucre into contemporary currency without tipping off the authorities or other wrong people presented a challenge. Our best bet was to launder the trove via one of my underworld connections at a substantial cost, and the risk of alerting the aforementioned wrong people. In this case, the Albany mob. I kept other items from the Croatoan's cache. Tools of murder, documents, and videocassettes chiefly. These were buried too, although closer to home in my own backyard. I was tempted to destroy these evil mementos. Yet what if I needed them one fine day? That possibility stayed my hand. Sinister home videos and killing knives weren't the issue right then. $1.5 million was the issue. Lionel had proven a good sport so far. He couldn't stay cool forever. Prudence and temperance weren't his watchwords. The Marines taught him other skills, other bellicose virtues. Thus, here we were in the sneaking hours, burying the money once again. We'd originally stashed it near home and then decided a lonely plot in the hills was wiser. With an eye toward a more permanent solution, and only the gods knew when that might be. I set aside a portion for a sample, should a sample become necessary. We sweated a hunter or hiker stumbling across our handiwork and leaving an empty pit for us to find later. Far-fetched, yet eminently reasonable to our minds, which spoke volumes about the state of those minds, I suppose. "I vote we quit pussyfooting around and cash in our chips," Lionel said as we made ready to lower the sealed containers. "The German? He could handle this weight." "The German isn't safe. His partners were pinched in a sting. The feds will have him under a magnifying glass." "I hadn't heard." "Who then?" "Japanese liaison to the U.S. government might be our ticket." "Former liaison. Sonny loves America and Elvis. 3 years stateside near Graceland as a teen. I stayed with him in Tokyo when the outfit sent me over on business. Elvis memorabilia out the wazoo." "Rhinestone suit?" "Rhinestone suit." "Isn't he with the Yakuza?" Lionel said. "Sonny provides equal opportunities to all criminal gangs. I have to be careful. He likes me, but we aren't bosom buddies. He makes one call and we're boned. These ex-diplomats aren't loyal to anybody." "Man, whatever gets us paid." "The loot isn't going to evaporate." "We might." "Touché." My left hand trembled. In the dim and not-so-dim past, I'd broken it, had muscles torn, the fingers dislocated. Healed, all healed, yet the nerves were weakening. The rubber bands of sinew and tendon losing their snapback, and no matter how many racquetballs I crushed daily, or spade loads of dirt I shoveled, the status quo slipped and my hand quivered when it grew tired, and it grew tired ever more quickly. "Hold tight a bit longer. I'll ask Meg for help." "You ready to take it there?" he said. "You loop her in. This gets real." "She's a research genius. Be peachy to know what we're dealing with." Detective license in my wallet notwithstanding, my girlfriend was the brains in the relationship. "Kinda your job." "I'm too busy getting punched in the face." He hefted a stone and chucked it onto the pile. "Does the origin matter? Gotta figure it's blood money, pure filth, the veritable root of evil. Get it laundered, problem solved. Who cares where it came from as long as we know where it's going?" Any counter I threw at him would be weak. Blood money tends to carry a curse. I don't want to get bitten in the ass down the road. "Brother, we were screwed the moment we walked into the madman's lair." He dropped his cigarette butt and commenced digging again. "Go read one of your books on mythology, any of 'em. Curses get stronger with time. Dumping it for whatever we can get is the smart play." "The smart play is to douse it in gasoline and strike a match." He laughed as if I were making a joke. Increasingly, there were moments when I wished heartily that we were capable of making the smart play. Just once. Nature has everything plotted to a gnat's ass. Her vast blueprint overwhelms our ability to fully comprehend the true shape of reality. We glimpse points of intersection, we hear phantom notes on a cool autumn breeze, but seldom apprehend the greater symphony at play. The day after we relocated the money, I sparred a few rounds with the regulars at the Deadfall Gym in Kingston. The Deadfall didn't help me improve my skills, it slowed their degradation. I'm strong, and have fought enough to acquire an arsenal of nasty techniques. Fighting isn't a static art. It mutates rapidly, endlessly, and for every offensive tactic there's a defense or a counter. I gave better than I got, and while sparring isn't really combat, to put it bluntly, I'd slowed. Somebody drilled me with a flying knee, applied a guillotine choke, and cranked my neck. Somebody else hooked me behind the ankle and flung me headfirst onto the mat. The crash rattled the gym's metal garage door. Also got a complimentary dented nose in the bargain. Rub some dirt on it and walk it off type of damage. Food for thought, these sessions coupled with the aforementioned weakness in my left arm. Proof positive my problems weren't localized, they were systemic. I'd withstood copious measures of physical punishment in my days with the mob. The physical abuse quotient only got worse since I began sticking my nose into folks' business as a detective. Hospital visits and medical bills accrued. MDs tisked and clucked over my collection of injuries and chronic ailments. They passed around x-rays and CAT scans with the enthusiasm of kids trading baseball cards. The upshot being...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?